Hello, thank you, and joining me once again to discuss the topic today, the rise of human consciousness. The reason I picked this topic, it's because of what's happening today in our world. It's affecting humanity, and it doesn't matter whether you are from Ataktayak or Brazil or the United States or Italy, you are affected. It doesn't matter how rich you are. You can't escape this. So this is something that humanity is facing as a whole. And I want to share with you some perspective today that relates to the fact that this is forcing us, encouraging us, inspiring us perhaps. Some may experience this as being forced to, and some may experience as being inspired to dive deep within. And that is the only way to navigate through the pandemic, is to dive deep within, because you cannot escape anywhere. You have to deal with the situation. You have to manage the situation. You are in no better position than anybody else. So I invite you to spend the next 40 minutes with me to discuss this and perhaps consider some of the perspectives I provide you. So let's start from a story. Not a story, but a factual basis of a scientific experiment that reveals some amazing things. And I want to share that with you. This happened many years ago. And there was a brilliant French scientist. He was a Nobel laureate. And his name was Dr. Luc Montagnier. And what he did was, he actually took a molecule, a DNA molecule from an HIV-infected patient. So that DNA molecule, he put it in pure water, and he measured the electromagnetic field of that DNA molecule in water. Now, it's not surprising that he found that the DNA molecule had an electromagnetic signature that was unique to that particular molecule. That's not the surprising part, because I'll share with you later on how you and I can sense that electromagnetic field. And as a matter of fact, it has been measured in laboratories. But going back to this story, where Dr. Montagnier was able to measure the electromagnetic field of the HIV-infected cell or DNA molecule in water. So what he did was, he actually recorded the electromagnetic signature. And the way he recorded it, any electromagnetic signature can be digitized. And the digitization of that was the basis of which he carried out his experiment. Now, if you sing a song, you can record it on your iPhone, and that's digitized. And so it's almost like when you measure the electromagnetic field of this DNA molecule and you convert it into digital file format, it becomes a digital song, so to speak, because it has complex frequencies. So he took this particular DNA molecule, measured its electromagnetic signature, and converted it into digital file. Then what he did was, he was able to remove the DNA molecule after a series of successive procedures, that he was able to remove the DNA molecule from the water. And then he measured the water digital signature. He measured the water's electromagnetic field to see if there was a residual magnetic field left behind by the DNA molecule. What he was trying to look for is, does water retain memory? And of course, what he found was fascinating, that he was able to sense and measure the electromagnetic signature of the HIV disease cell in the water after the cell or the DNA molecule was removed. So he thought, well, what happens if we now put some components of DNA in there? Will the energy field reconstruct the DNA back to the HIV disease molecule? So that's the interesting part. So imagine if you had a Lego block that was shaped into a castle, and you broke it apart, and you measured the electric field of that, and you found that there was a specific signature of that. Then you put the broken Lego pieces back in, and hoping that the Lego pieces would automatically turn itself back into the original castle based on the electromagnetic field. So that's what he was trying to do, but with HIV cell. So he said, well, why don't we do this? Why don't we have an independent laboratory test this out? So he was in France, and he contacted a university in Italy. And what he did was he sent the digital file of the electromagnetic signature of the water with no DNA molecule, but had the signature of the DNA molecule. So in other words, what he did was he took the electromagnetic signature of the vial of water without the molecule, the DNA molecule in there. And he said, and that was a signature of the HIV infected DNA. So what he did was he digitized that, and he shipped it over via internet in a digital file over to Italy, a laboratory in Italy. So the professor in Italy was excited to try this out. So the professor in Italy, what he did was he took pure water and he played the recording or the song of the HIV infected digital signature. That's all it was. It was just pure water with song, and he encased it in an electromagnetic proof cylinder, where so no outside interference can change the outcome of the experiment. He played that song for an hour. He came back and he found out that there was indeed an electromagnetic signature of the HIV infected cell in the new vial. Then he did something extraordinary. He put the Lego pieces back in Italy. So he put the components that make up the DNA molecule, separated out, put them in, and he waited to see if the energy field could reconstitute these pieces back together to the original HIV molecule, HIV-infected DNA molecule. What he found was truly groundbreaking. The answer is yes. There was a reconstitution of the components of the DNA molecule into the exact pattern with 97% match of the HIV-infected virus. So what does this mean to you and I today? You see, we have an electromagnetic field. We have 100 trillion cells, and we have that many more DNA molecules within that. So we have a lot of DNA molecules. Each of them has an electromagnetic signature. And that's the electromagnetic signature that we can actually measure. As a matter of fact, the heart's electromagnetic signature is by far the strongest of any other organ in your body. By far the strongest. Laboratories have measured the heart's electromagnetic signature to go out between 3 to 8 feet, depending on which laboratory measured it or how sensitive their equipment was. The Heart Math Institute measured it to about 3 feet, so it's a bubble around us. And you can actually measure the electromagnetic signature. So we have an electromagnetic signature. And that is what's keeping this matter, our body, our cells, operating in concert and commensurate with the flavor or the actual purity of the electromagnetic field. If there's a disturbance in the electromagnetic field in our body, it will skew some of the functions of our cells. So now you know where I'm going with this. Because the DNA molecule that was infected with HIV virus in a vial of water created an electromagnetic signature, which when the DNA molecule was removed, the signature was still there. What that means is that our body has 2/3 water. 2/3 of our body is water. And if we have an electromagnetic field, and if we have symptoms that are of chronic conditions, diseases, those symptoms are being held in place by a certain electromagnetic field. And even when we take chemicals to release the symptoms, we haven't gotten rid of the electromagnetic field, and so the symptoms come back if we don't do anything with the electromagnetic field. So now, when we talk about our heart's magnetic field, that's 3 to 8 feet beyond us, around us, We know, and that electromagnetic field rests in a lot of water because our body is 2/3 water. So our body can retain memory of electromagnetic signature. The question is, can we change that electromagnetic signature? Where I'm going with this is now coming to the topic of what's happening today with our pandemic, coronavirus. You see, even scientists agree that the actual virus is not a living thing. It does not reproduce by itself. It definitely does not have a metabolic system. So it's not considered, by scientific definition of today, a virus, a living thing. So when we hear from the news that this person was infected with coronavirus, or the virus that causes COVID-19, if this person was infected with it and therefore it took its cell over and mutated that cell in some way, what we're doing is we're saying that we are giving the power away to a virus that does not really have innate intelligence by our scientific standards. And we're giving the power away from that which has innate intelligence, that is our body. In other words, if we say that this coronavirus thing comes into our field and enters our body, latches onto our cell, it's only because our cells are open to it being latched on. And it's only because our energy field is set up so that it allows it to mutate in the way that it does. So if we turn this around and say, look, this virus has no power over me, my innate intelligence is where I need to focus on. Is that making sense? So if we focus now on the fact that this is the innate intelligence of our body that actually can have an electric field or a magnetic field that we can actually manipulate, inspire to actually become more coherent. If we can do that, a virus coming in will not be able to manipulate that if the energy field is strong enough. Just like the energy field in Italy of that vial was strong enough to reconstitute the DNA molecule that was HIV infected, don't you think by that experiment that you can actually extend that and say that if I had a pure cell, a stem cell, pure stem cell, that my electromagnetic field is going to create an undiseased cell or replace the diseased cell with that brand new cell. Wouldn't that make sense? That if your energy field can reconstitute pieces of DNA into a disease, it can certainly have the same power to reconstitute it into a non-diseased cell. Now your body is producing cells all the time. So what information are the cells getting for reproduction? What information is coming to the cells? It's the same old disease energy that's holding the disease, or is it a new field that you've set up? And I want to talk to you about how to set up that new field. So let us go there right now. To set up the new field is very interesting. We've known this for a while, and if you've been following Heart Math Institute, you know this to be the answer. Is on that magnetic field that I spoke about earlier that your heart generates, about 3 to 8 feet. You can also measure emotions on that. So our emotions and the frequencies of our emotions are encoded on the magnetic field of our heart's generation. So if we're feeling excited, joy, compassion, gratitude, and we're truly feeling it, we will register a very coherent pattern, signature of frequencies. That's like saying, I'm singing a song, because those frequencies are nothing but those digital songs. I'm singing a song that makes you feel amazing. Have you ever walked by a person or stood by a person and you felt, I feel so elated, I feel so calm? That's because some people have this emotion around them that grounds others. And that's nothing but a digital signature, in metaphorically speaking, of our emotions that are imbued on the magnetic field. So if we're feeling compassion, love, gratitude, others who actually come by us, they also have this 3 to 5 feet of magnetic field around them. And they will pick up on the song. You know, it's like you're listening, you're sitting in a car and a car comes next to you and they've got their radio turned on, you've got your radio turned on, and you might like their song better, so you will turn your radio down just to listen to that song. Or if you have your radio tuned up to Baroque music and somebody comes up with a heavy metal and that music does not sit well with you, and if that music is louder than your Baroque music, that music's going to affect you more. That's exactly how emotions work on the magnetic field. Is if the intensity of your emotion is louder, more powerful, more intense than the intensity of somebody else's emotions, because they are feeling anxiety, you will actually help them. And that is a system of intelligence that we are born with, that we have within us. And so we should not be giving our power away to something that's not even considered a life form by our scientific measure. We are the life form. We are empowered. We own the power. Let's reclaim our power back. So what I'd like to do now is to take the next few minutes to actually help us all clear the energy field within our body. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce to you a binary technique. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the heart math technique to actually get us into the state of coherence. And the heart math technique that I'll take you through will actually help us build the magnetic field around us and put the proper register, the proper frequencies or emotions onto the magnetic field. And that's simply by experiencing regenerative emotions such as gratitude, appreciation, compassion. Once we put that in, what we're going to do is, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to chant Om while using a Spring Forest Qigong technique of clearing the energy fields, clearing fear. And that I can do long distance through the techniques that I use, using what we call sword fingers and thunder palms. So what I'll do is, while we're in that state of coherence, I'll be chanting Om, and I'll be using some Qigong clearing approaches to help clear the energy field and restore the energy field and replace it with light. In Qigong philosophy, there is no such thing as good or bad energy. A disease is only excess energy that is no longer required. So there's no good or bad, there's no judgment. It's just that there's energy that's not balanced properly, and there's too much energy or too little energy. And so the process of intention is to balance the energy fields such that you're not removing anything that serves you, and you're not holding back anything that doesn't serve you. What you're doing is you're clearing up the energy field, and with your intention, you are clearing that which is stuck energy that no longer serves you. And so we combine heart math techniques with some additional guided meditation techniques with Qigong approach to clear the energy field for everybody that's listening to this now, or listening to this later as a recording, or who taps into the energy. So let us do that. So I want you to get comfortable. I want you to sit and become comfortable wherever you are. I invite you to close your eyes. When I chant Om, my hands will be moving. I may switch to a slide when I'm doing that so that you don't have to see me do that. So you can keep your eyes closed and just settle into your system, in your body. Let us now set the intention that our biology has innate intelligence to actually set up the electromagnetic fields in a coherent way such that our system actually works better. That way, our immune system picks up. So now let us begin by placing our awareness in the area of the heart. Let us take slow, deep, gentle breaths and experiencing these flowing in and out of our hearts, breathing a little slower, a little gentler than you normally would. and continue to experience the gentle waves as you take these slow, deep, gentle breaths. See if you can sense something just beyond your body, the energy field, and see if it'll cradle you and rock you back and forth as you sense the field just beyond your body, just a few inches beyond your body. See if you can sense the life force that's enveloping you right now, this moment. Now I want you to activate a regenerative emotion, one that makes you happy, that brings you joy. Create that emotion and tune it up, elevate it, intensify it, such that the radio in your car is pleasant and it's loud, and everyone who listens to it is affected positively by it. That's your emotion, and that's the intensity of your emotion. Let's experience this emotion in an elevated way. Let's cleanse our magnetic field, our electromagnetic field, such that it redistributes the energies to where it needs to be and releases that which does not need to be there. Let's give signals to our stem cells to reproduce in the new fashion, in a healthy fashion, and not copy the old diseased cell. Let us set that intention right now. And as you experience these amazing emotions, you draw your breaths in and out from your heart and allow your body to experience these wonderful emotions. I want you to radiate that emotion from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. Just experience it, radiate it, such that the entire body is experiencing this. How far can you radiate this wonderful emotion and energy? Can you envelop the entire globe? Can you visualize children playing in the park and there is no pandemic? Can you visualize yourself dancing in the streets with others and celebrating? Take slow, deep, gentle breaths. Maintain awareness in the area of the heart. And now take those slow, deep breaths 3 times. Now gently open up your eyes. Rub your hands together. This allows you to bring your presence back into your body like this. I want you to join me to do something right now. It's a Qigong Meridian clearing practice. So if it feels appropriate, please stand up. And then I want you to take your left hand out and cup your right hand, so like this, and just gently pat your inside elbow like this. And now do the same on the other side. Now I want you to put this hand behind you and cup your armpit. And do the same over here. That opens up your entire meridian system. It's a pretty cool approach. Please use it every day. And I encourage you to do these breathing techniques, slow, deep breaths, experience regenerative emotions, especially when you are experiencing anxiety. So when you do that and you bring this emotion forward, it replaces the old emotion of fear. Remember, fear has a frequency, anxiety has a frequency, joy has a frequency. And those frequencies are palpable. They are imbued on your magnetic field. So you cannot hold fear and love in the same way, because they're two different frequencies. It's like saying, I'm going to be playing classical music and heavy metal at the same time. Well, you can't do that. So you're either holding love and compassion and gratitude in your heart, or you're holding fear. So you know that if you're experiencing fear, by definition, you're not experiencing gratitude, which means that your electromagnetic field is going to now register a different frequency. And so now you're attracting something that does not serve you. So it's a matter of choosing your emotion, which you can. And it's a matter of taking back your power and allowing the innate intelligence of your body, this beautiful human design of your body, to do its work by fueling it with compassion, love, and gratitude. Now, if you'll allow me to spend a few more minutes to share with you a program that I offer for free online every Monday morning at 9 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. In this program, it's a 15-minute program. I take our global participants through a guided meditation practice that helps us connect our hearts to our minds. And I do that for 5 minutes, and then for the next 5 minutes, I talk about a different topic each week. So I would, for example, this topic that we just talked about right now is the one that I would condense it and spend 5 minutes just giving them a little snippet of it. And then the last 5 minutes, we would do more heart-mind coherence practices. So we keep our energy field clear each week, and people can then replay that over the week so that they can continue to practice it throughout the day or throughout that week. The studies have shown that 5 minutes of feeling appreciation and gratitude will boost your immune system for up to 6 hours. Conversely, 5 minutes of anxiety and frustration will reduce your immune system for up to 6 hours. So if you're going to choose an emotion, if you're going to choose the song that you're going to play on this radio, let it be one that cleanses your energy field. Let it be the one that draws others to you and helps them anchor, because you will be the rock for them. It has been so wonderful connecting with you, my family, in this way. I would have much preferred having to be there in person and to hug you in person, but this will have to do for now. And when the pandemic is over, I look forward to dancing in the streets with every one of you. Thank you so much for joining me today.